Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Mallikarjun here. Very good morning, very good evening to all. Uh, Here I'm with a quick demonstration on one of the interesting topic on the rack one node. Whenever you are trying to relocate your rack one node database in case of cluster setup and the relocate command is getting failed. So here in my blog, malik034blogspot.com already published this particular steps and command and the content. You can refer from my blog. I can quickly demonstrate on that. So right now I can go and check my rack setup. It's a two node rack setup here. If I can quickly check on node 1 plus ASM1, if I do OLS nodes, that'll going to tell node 1 and node 2. This two node rack setup. If I do -n, it's a instance 1 and instance 2, where you can see a couple of database we're running on node 1 and your ASM1 is running on node 1, and again similarly couple of more database running on node 2, and your ASM2 is running over there. Right, it's a two node rack cluster, and interestingly we have this rack one node special database. If I can check the status of that database on node 2 or node 1, you can run it from anywhere. I'm running it from node 2 rack1n. That's just a naming convention I'm given like that. I'm going to check the database status. srvctl status database -d, your database unique name, and instance to rack one node database unique name _2 instance 2 running on node 2. Right, that's correct. Node 2. This is my node 2 rack cluster setup, and the rack one node instance 2 is running over here. Whereas on node 1, I don't have that instance 1 because it's a rack one node. So by this time, you might be already aware of what is rack one node and what are the properties and all. I'm not going to explain that in this session here. I wanted to show demo the relocation failure command and then how we can fix that failure. Right, now I can check srvctl config database -d rack1n. That's the unique name of the database. It gonna clearly says type of database is rack one node, and the candidate servers are node 1 and node 2. These are my cluster nodes, and the database instance currently running is rack1_2. Right, let's try to move that one. I'm going to move it using srvctl relocate database -d and your database name. Right now it is running on like this. Like, quickly take a look here. We have node 1 and node 2. We have this rack one node, rack one node instance 2. We have this instance 1 and instance 2 configured on node 1 and node 2, but rack one node, the specialty is it will run it any one instance in uh, any of the any of the cluster nodes. Right now it is running on node 2 is running. I'm gonna move that one. I'm gonna shut down that node 2, the rack second instance, and I'm gonna start rack one instance on node 1. The command for that is srvctl relocate database -d rack1n, and this is gonna actually shut down your second instance and start the first instance on node 1. But this command is eventually get fails. If I do PRKO-2148 option -node must be specified when you're doing srvctl relocate database for administrator managed rack one node database. What is this administrator managed rack one node database? If you observe here srvctl config database, at the end of this command, the database is administrator managed. So we have database management policy, either database administrator managed, that DBA managed, or you can say policy managed. So what is this administrator managed and policy managed? So let's expand this two node rack cluster here. I have one, two, let's write neatly, three, four. I have this four node, node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. I have four nodes, and I have my instance _1, instance _2, instance underscore 3, instance underscore 4. I have this 4 node rack database, but it's a rack one node. Any one will be running. Right now, I'm assuming that my instance 2 is running. If I run this command, srvctl relocate database -d rack 1n, it has to shut down the second instance, start either instance 1 or instance 3 or instance 4. Which one to start? That as a DBA, I need to inform that while running this command, srvctl relocate command, I need to inform on which node to start because this database is administrator managed. It's a DBA managed. A DBA, I need to tell which node it has to start. Until unless if I don't specify this -node command, your database instance will never start on the other node because of the management policy is a DBA managed, admin managed. Instead of DBA managed, if it is a policy managed, Oracle server pool internally relocate this instance to on either node 1 or node 3 or node 4 based upon the resource availability. That is a policy managed. So that you can go ahead and do some more research what exactly mean by admin managed and policy managed. In simple terminology, admin managed meaning a DBA, I'm going to manage this database. And policy managed means I don't want to manage this database anymore. Let's cluster decide based upon the resource availability. Right. Let's now, it is a 2 node rack. I have only 1 and 2 nodes. I have to specify -n node 1 because right now it's running on node 2. I have to move it to node 1. I don't have other option like node 3 or node 4. But this is the best example, whatever I said just now. In case of multiple nodes, you can you have to specify this -n or -node. Both are same command. You can use either -n or -node and specify your specific node where your instance has to start. Right, it won't take a few seconds. Let it complete and then we can quickly check. Your instance 2 will shut down and your instance 1 will start on node 1. Right now here on node 1, I don't have this rack 1 node database. Let's see if it started here. Right, you can see here rack 1 node underscore 1. The instance 1 is getting started here on node 1. And at the same time on node 2, whatever this instance 2 was running, it is going to be shut down. Right, let's take, it's going to take few more seconds. At meantime, okay, it's done already. Yeah, it is srvctl relocate command successfully completed. Now let's go ahead and check the same status. srvctl status database -d rack 1 node, which was running second instance on node 2. Now the first instance running on node 1. Rack the instance 1 running on node 1. And if I do config, srvctl config database -d rack 1 node, right now instance 1 running on node 1. Right, so that's a quick intro about how you can move your instances and what exactly mean by this database, a DBA managed, the database administrator managed, or the policy managed. So again, if you have more questions or queries, you can do some research on this. What is admin managed or the administrator managed or the policy managed? These are the two policies you can configure, you can set up in case of cluster when you are setting up of your rack database or rack 1 node database. All right, in my next video, I'm going to talk more detail on this database policy, admin managed or policy managed, and what exactly mean by online relocation. What is this inactive or active or what are the status and what exactly this status should be. We'll cover it in our next session. Thank you guys. Let's see you in next session.